Survival games are all the same. You start off as a little shit, picking through trash for swords. At first, it's smarter to run than to pick fights. Build enough dirt hovels or dig through enough trash, and you get enough swords to hide your insecurities. Eventually, you make a home base for yourself and maybe your buddies, and that's where the game goes to shit, no matter which one you're playing. The only thing that sets these games apart is how they try to avoid that, how well they do it, and what flavor they come in. But why avoid the base building phase? What is it about this phase that turns these games to shit? And why is there such a concerted effort from game developers to hide this phase from the player? Zombies, dinosaurs, sharks, and naked men with rocks can't threaten you anymore once you have a big-ass base. You don't even bother with trash swords now because you're smithing that shit yourself and you're making a killing doing it. But prosperity comes with a price.
Listen, motherfucker, you gotta pay your taxes like everyone else.
And you may find yourself living in that big-ass base. And you may find yourself driving a dinky-ass little stupid bitch vehicle. And you may ask yourself, why am I logging into this game just to mow the fucking lawn? No matter how well a survival crafting game hides it, the end result is always logging in, cleaning up your Tamagotchi shit, feeding it, and logging out. This flaw goes all the way back to the beginning of the genre. If you wanted to get technical, you could say that Minecraft is what started all of this. But it didn't get hugely popular until DayZ. And DayZ is a broken-ass, busted-ass, buggy old piece of shit. It took 40 minutes of running to find your friends, or 2 hours if you stepped on a rock too aggressively. I'm not even using any footage of it, because none of us wanted to go through the trials and tribulations of downloading it, getting it to run, meeting each other, and praying to the machine spirits that it'd actually fucking work for long enough for us not to get plugged in the head by some douchebag in a big-ass base. See, DayZ never bothered to solve the power creep that's become inherent to the genre. It never provided a next step after a heavily fortified base, except maybe for PvP, and that's always pretty heavily balanced in favor of the fortified players. As a result, none of the games that have come out since have bothered finding a solution to it either. Arguably the best and most polished of these games is Subnautica, but even that game has flaws. One of the most glaring flaws is the lack of multiplayer support, despite that being an objective in the game's original Kickstarter. But broken promises are just endemic to Kickstarter, just as much as Kickstarter itself seems endemic to this genre. For every good game in it, there are 3 that never made it off the ground, and the list gets bigger every day. As they are now, these games are unsustainable cash grabs that exist in opposition to themselves. They jerk themselves off about how beautiful the world is, but every one of these games turns into a neat simulator once you build up a base. Why would I ever want to explore if my base has everything I need at 0 risk to myself? If this genre is going to survive, it needs to take a step away from DayZ's flawed model and actually innovate. I don't know that's actually going to happen, since innovation is anathema to Kickstarter and apparently to capitalism as a whole, but I do have some ideas no one will ever listen to. Starbound has this spaceship that the player owns, and they can serve as mobile bases. You fly to a planet, you beam down, you strip mine it, and you move on, unless you want to build on it. It's a good start, but it's still isolated from any real threat. Now imagine a game with a mobile base that isn't segregated from the rest of the game. It can come under an attack, maybe it's an old piece of shit that needs maintenance, maybe it needs more than one person to control it. I don't know. But what I do know is that a good game needs something that can consistently put the player in danger, and most survival games fall short of that after a certain point. Unless they stop mindlessly imitating a game that came out 5 years ago, the genre is going to die a slow and unremarkable death.